Okie dokie, I thought I'd make a quick explanation of what's going on here. Right, so this is the 5 series rear axle which I was using, but unfortunately, because the shocks bolt in at the top rather than the bottom, it was not going to be viable to have a nice clean installation. This has got a nice bit here, but hasn't on that side. I was actually thinking about modifying this bottom arm to take the coil over. Fuck it in the end. So that one's quite handy. It's just got the 4 bolts, which would be a piece of piss to mount. So what I've done in the end is I've gone for the E46 rear axle, which is now in there. I've just tacked in a couple pieces of metal for now just to weld that in. But the problem with the E46 rear axle, if I can just climb up here, whoop, is you've got a trailing arm which basically goes into nothing. So that needs a mounting to stop the wheel from going in and out basically. So that's where I am. I've got a couple mountings made up so far. I'm just going to pause this video and stick one in, and I shall show you how that is going in. Okie dokie, second part of this video. So I've kind of made these slightly wrong, but it's not really an issue. I'm going to have to take the checker off the bottom, because I've decided to use the driver's side one on the passenger side and passenger one on the driver's side, for the simple reason that I left this strengthening edge in, and if I use the passenger one that I made for the passenger side, it basically hits the arm. So I thought, fuck it, that's all we'll do. So next thing that I need to do is, there's a hole in the chassis there, so I want to get a piece of steel onto there, onto there, that I can put a bolt through, and then it's going to be triangulated from there to there somewhere to boss this all up to give it strength. As these aren't really taking any huge amounts of strain, they're just basically track control arms. So yep, that should be hunky-dory. So that is going to be the next thing to put in. Then because this side's rotten, I've decided that I need to cut this side back out again, where I cut it out to repair the inner arch. I need to cut this side here out to get me access to that on that side. But I've decided I'm not going to put this back in that way. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to carry that sweep all the way over. So basically it comes across there and rounds off, but follows that curve, because I reckon that will look as sweet as a fucking nut. Yep, so spring wise, this is just in temporary. What I want to do is I want to sweep the chassis rail round so it sits on top of that mounting, then basically comes in across here, so it goes over the top of that mounting, then sweeps back round and into there. So this section of the chassis is going to stay where it is, but I need to chop the inside out and then put the spring mounting just on top, so I can get the spring there, and then the shock absorber which bolts on there will sit to about here, so I can make something up off the chassis to hold the shock absorber, which will be inside the new wheel arch. If that all makes sense. Oakley dokley guys, Paul Burt, Backyard Engineering. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channels. This is the 52 Chevy panel van, proper projects budget build. Trying to keep this under $4,000. So far I've got, as I say, the E46 rear axle, which sits there, and I've put the X300 front suspension in, but with the 330 BMW engine in it, it's sitting, I won't say it's sitting too low, because I could actually drive it like that, but the wheels are hitting the inside of the wings, so I'm going to have to lift it up. Now, I don't really give a shit about originality. Oh, it might be a little low because the tire's flat as well. It'll probably come up about an inch. So at the moment, I just cut the chassis down to fit the front clip on the front, because I'm quite happy to weld up, bodge and modify. So at the moment, the eye bolt for the X300 is there. So I'm actually going to chop this back off and roughly raise it there, which is 4 fingers, so 3 inches, 3.5 inches. That should allow it to come up. And I've also got to sort out where the sump is going to be going, and the engine's got to come across. But as I say, Paul Burt, Backyard Engineering. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks guys.